back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Netflix. So for those of you not familiar with this channel, once a week I go searching through the popular streaming platforms and come up with 10 horror movies to recommend to you guys. This week I went searching through Netflix and came up with 10 horror movies that I think you will enjoy. And with that, let's get to the list!
너 내가 찾아서 죽여버릴게.
So The Call is a creepy, fun Korean sci-fi horror movie from 2020. So it's about two women who find out they're connected over the phone in the same house, but separated by 20 years. What starts out as a sweet friendship between the two turns deadly when the true nature of one of the girls is slowly unveiled. So this is a time travel horror movie that has lots of surprises as well as twists and turns.
내가 말이야, 너희 아빠를 내가 다시 살릴 수도 있지 않을까?
And Park Shin-hye gives a heartfelt, very moving performance in this. And I really look forward to seeing what she does in the future. And I really love the concept of this movie. People, you need to make more time travel horror movies. This is a really entertaining little movie that I recommend you give a look. So, Before I Wake is a 2016 psychological thriller directed by Mike Flanagan. So it's about a couple who adopt an orphan boy, and soon after getting him home, strange paranormal occurrences start to happen. This movie has some seriously creepy imagery that starts out beautiful and fantastical, but eventually turns very dark and haunting.
That little boy's dreams come true. It's an amazing, beautiful thing. But his nightmares, they're dangerous, deadly.
This really is like a ghostly, magical type of horror movie, something that I think is unique in a lot of ways. It deals with some really tragic themes, but it also has a sweet heart to it as well. This movie just has a really solid cast to it as well, led by Thomas Jane, but it's Mike Flanagan's show, and like all Mike Flanagan projects for the most part, they're all stellar and worth checking out. It's definitely one you should add to your list.
Go, 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 go! You just never know where the day is going to take you.
So Coming Home in the Dark is a bleak, uncomfortable movie. So it's about a school teacher who is forced to confront brutal acts from his past when a pair of ruthless drifters take him and his family on a nightmare road trip. This movie is shocking and disturbing, very much caught me off guard. It goes very dark quickly and forces you to be invested in these characters. You can just really feel their pain and fear.
I should probably introduce myself, shouldn't I? I'm Mandrake. I'm a magician. I make things disappear.
But it also really shows you the villains and why they are the way they are and why they are doing what they're doing. But this movie is just really well directed by James Ashcroft, and I wasn't familiar with him until this movie, but I really expect some great things from him in the future. And has a great cast as well, especially from Daniel Gillis and Eric Thompson. They both do a fantastic job in this. So this is just a very grim, very violent movie, but it's a really well done movie and one that I recommend you check out. So Raw is a ferocious 2016 sexual awakening horror movie. It's also the directorial debut from Julia Ducournau, who most recently did the movie Titan, which I'm a very big fan of. Raw tells the story of a young vegetarian girl who is a first-year student at a veterinary school. But when she tastes meat for the first time, she develops this craving for flesh. This movie gets very gruesome with loads of bloody body horror. But it's really an allegory for sexual awakening, done in a beautifully disturbing way. I was enthralled by this movie from beginning to end and found myself unable to look away. So for fans of artfully done indie horror, this is a must.
Back off! If you don't wake up, you're gonna die.
So Gerald's Game is a chilling Stephen King adaptation directed by Mike Flanagan. So it's about a woman brilliantly played by Carla Gugino, whose husband dies of a heart attack while she is handcuffed to a bed during a weekend getaway.
Gerald? What? What's happening? Gerald?
And soon she realizes she's trapped with little chance of rescue. The voices in her mind slowly take over and she starts to question what is reality. So Carla Gugino gives a very moving, very believable performance in this. She just really conveys the struggle to survive so well. But this movie has many layers, dealing with some very disturbing subject matter as she battles the demons from her past as well as the present. This is just another outstandingly done project from Mike Flanagan. I've become such a big fan of his in the last few years. The way he brings this Stephen King story to life is just masterful. This is a beautifully done, powerful movie in every way, and I highly recommend it.
This isn't real! This isn't real! This isn't real!
So Ghost of War is a hauntingly tragic time period ghost story. So it tells the story of a squad of 5 US soldiers who are fighting in France during World War II, and they are tasked with holding down a large haunting estate. But soon bizarre paranormal occurrences begin.
I'm just gonna say what we're all thinking.
This place is haunted. Everything we experience, it's what the Nazis did to the family that lived here.
So this is a movie that leads you to believe one thing and then completely pivots and goes in a wildly different direction. But I felt like it does both directions so well, and it does a really good job of connecting. It's really moving and heartfelt with some creepy, spooky elements as well. This is just an absolute gem that I think is definitely worth your time.
Fear no evil. Fear no evil.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 has become such a divisive topic in the horror community of late. So I'll be the first to admit that it's got loads of flaws, but in general, I think it's a fun little movie. So it picks up several decades after the original film, and the story focuses on Leatherface, who targets a group of young entrepreneurs who have recently bought this abandoned town in Texas.
Really shouldn't be here.
So does this movie have issues? Hell yeah, it has issues, but so did Halloween Kills. So did the most recent Scream, which I really liked. I mean, that's just kind of the way of these teen slashers, the popcorn slashers, all the way back to Friday the 13th. I mean, that's just the way it goes. They're never that well acted or cast, but that's not really the point of this type of movie. This is the type of movie just to kind of have fun with, and I think in that sense, this movie is successful. I also think this movie is beautifully shot and well directed, as well as has some amazing kills, some very unique kills. But in general, this is just a fun popcorn slasher, and if you have not yet seen it, and you've been hearing all the naysayers saying it's not worth your time, you know what, have a mind of your own, and go check it out, because I do think that it is a lot of fun.
You think you're done with the past, but the past is not done with you.
So The Gift is a harrowing psychological thrill ride, directed and starring Joel Edgerton. So when a couple played by Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall run into a past acquaintance played by Joel Edgerton, things start to get weird and creepy as he starts to give them gifts that keep escalating and getting more and more bizarre.
He's delusional and thinks that we're friends.
Thanks for a love to dinner.
Fish food. You don't find that a little troubling?
I said that I wanted fish.
It just takes you on this cat and mouse psychological game between these characters as the past unfolds. It's extremely well acted by the entire cast, but especially Rebecca Hall, who I've become a big fan of ever since last year's movie, The Night House. This is just a thrill ride and a movie that you really don't hear people talk about, and you should, because it's so well done in every way. I highly recommend this if you're looking for a thriller. This is a very, very underrated one. So The Silence is an intriguing apocalyptic thriller. This movie depicts a world that is under attack by these creatures, and this family struggle to survive in it. And these creatures hunt by sound, so in order to survive, you need to be completely silent.
They're back.
And the main character of this movie is a teenage girl who is deaf. So this family has become used to speaking with sign language. This movie is definitely very similar to A Quiet Place, but I feel like it does enough to stand on its own. For one, there's this very dark cult vibe about this movie. And just in general, the overall look and feel of this movie, there's this weird shadowiness that kind of gives it this different vibe. So this isn't a game-changing level of movie, but it is a fun creature feature kind of movie. So I think if you're someone like me that loves creature features and you've yet to check this one out, I think it's definitely worth giving a look. So Rob Zombie's Halloween is a nasty, gritty, dirty version of Halloween. So Rob Zombie tells basically the same story as the original. There's a young boy named Michael Myers who kills his teenage sister, then is put in a psychiatric hospital. Later on, when he's an adult, he breaks out and comes back to Haddonfield and goes on a killing spree.
Listen, be careful tonight. A lot of nutcases come out on Halloween.
But the same reason that I enjoy Rob Zombie's version of Halloween is the same reason that I really enjoyed the most recent Evil Dead. Because instead of just doing a remake, doing the same thing, rinse, repeat, he tried to take this idea, this story, and do something different with it. And he definitely put his brand on it, and I really appreciated that because he goes into the psychology behind Michael Myers. He goes into what makes him tick, what made him this monster. And I just really appreciated what he did here because he tried to take things in a different direction. And it has this gritty, dirty, different feel and vibe to it. And it doesn't take away from the original Halloween. It does its own thing. So I think if for whatever reason you're listening to the haters and have never checked this movie out, I think you definitely should because you might be surprised and actually enjoy it. All right, that's going to do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if there's anything on Netflix that I missed that you think I should be checking out. Also, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week, I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to my patrons because you guys, your support seriously means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.